Welcome to another episode of Under the Surface. Today we are going to talk about bosses. We are going to try and first of all make you aware what bosses there are in the game, and second of all how hard they are based on our experiences, and if it's even worth it to try and take them on because they might have terrible rewards. Without further ado, let's dive under the surface. So first on our list is Bounty Hunter, and I think this is exclusive for Vanessa. I don't think any other character can encounter this guy.
No, I don't think so. I was about to say he's only worth fighting if you're Vanessa anyway, from the rewards. So
First of all, Bounty Hunter is level 9 monster, which grants you 7 gold, 4 experience points, and of course a reward if you beat him. And I wouldn't consider that a really strong opponent, although I think it's usually on 7th or 8th day that it's going to appear. So if you are not doing so hot, you might be too weak to try and take it on. But in terms of the rewards, I think either the wanted poster, which grants you XP after winning a fight, might be useful. Like it can grant you a couple of points of experience, so you might get more ahead. And then thrown net, if you have enough space on your board and you are playing actually like weapon spam or something, can make your build stronger in essence. Like what do you think about the thrown net?
I think throwing that's okay. I've fought him several times, and every time I do, I seem to get the throwing net. I don't think it never really fits my build personally. I'm more looking for the wanted poster or the flashbang. I kind of like the flashbang if you have like some sort of
Yeah,
ammo build going on.
actually, flashbang could be thrown into most of the builds because that's simply a CC item, right? Because it slows all enemy items for 3 seconds after 6 seconds, because it has a cooldown of 6 seconds. But slowing all enemy items for 3 seconds is, well, a bit of time to try and get your synergy rolling.
I don't think he's a particularly hard fight. If I feel like remotely comfortable with my build, I'm usually trying to fight this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I think the skill is the best here because it fits, well, any build, because it says at the start of each fight, deal damage equal to 15% of the enemy's max health. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, it's a pretty good skill.
Now, going for the next fight, we have Infernal, which grants you 8 gold, 4 experience points, and a reward. And it's also level 9. And I guess I didn't mention the HP. Bounty Hunter and Infernal both have 2000 HP. One thing that you might want from Infernal is his greatsword, because this was a menace a couple of days back because it was bugged and it gained damage infinitely. However, the greatsword's text is burn equal to this item's damage, and it deals 185 damage. However, this item gains plus damage for the fight equal to your enemy's burn. So in essence, it scales.
It's a mythic item though, so don't fight this guy expecting to get it, but you could.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
this guy's a menace. This guy's a menace to society. You got to be ready to fight him when you go in because he burns like a million instantly.
So I would recommend only for heavy shielding and healing builds. Or if you have like infinite damage, then you might go for it. But on the other hand, if you already have like insanely strong build, you might not need any of the items that he has. You know, the skills might not be that useful if you are not into burning, because there are two. One says when you burn, your items gain plus 2% crit chance for the fight, and the other, when you burn, your weapons gain plus 4 damage for the fight. So if you're not burning, those two are pretty much useless. However, the third one is sort of useful even if you are not doing anything related to burning, because it says at the start of each fight, burn 11. So that's what, like 30, 40 damage in total for free?
His skills are okay, but you really want that great sword if you're going for him.
Right. So I would consider this guy a bit stronger than the bounty hunters because this band can really get out of control.
Yeah, I honestly usually skip him because I'd rather a guaranteed win, and I'm not running a burn build. But I'm not sure about you. But
I mean, I usually avoid him actually because if you're not doing band build, most of the rewards are fairly useless. I mean, you can, if you are really strong, you can just simply consider him a bigger piñata, so you get more gold and more XP. The next one on our list is Lich, and Lich is a 10th level enemy. Lich has almost 2800 HP, so he's a bit stronger than our previous guys. But the most important thing about Lich and his extreme strength is the Necronomicon, because the Necronomicon says when any non-weapon item is used, poison 4 and gain +1 regen for the fight. Your items have their cooldowns increased by 1 second. So see, when any non-weapon item is used, so yours and your opponents.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to have extremely specific build to actually try and take on the Lich. Really slow, really defensive build with a lot of healing. That's the only way to defeat the Lich. Because you have a weapon, if you have a weapon spam, he's going to poison you to death, simply put. I tried a couple of times, and I don't think I killed him even once. I don't think so.
I don't think I have either, and then since then I've kind of completely avoided him.
In terms of his skills, the first one is the first time you fall below half health each fight, freeze all enemy items for 4 seconds. So this is like the Gorgon skill, but 4 times as good. So I suppose this is the one of the better drops from him. But, well, you still need to kill him, right? And then you need to roll that skill. But I would definitely consider this a auto-include in any build.
That's huge.
The other skill isn't as useful because the first time you freeze each fight, slow all your opponent's items for 3 seconds. And I'm not saying this effect isn't strong, because it is, but you need to have a freezing item or freezing effect to trigger it. Of course, there are a lot of effects that actually do freezing, like the first time you haste freeze, the first time you slow freeze. So, I mean, there are a couple at least of activators each run that you can find to use this particular skill. So if you ever roll it, I wouldn't be, sad that you got it. However, the third one is, I would consider it mostly useless because it says your poison items have +2 poison. Go.
That's so much worse than the other two by like a mile.
Yes, exactly. Additionally, there is a wand that this guy has, which might be useful in some builds. Like if you don't roll any of the strongest things. Like the wand says that after 6 seconds of cooldown, it's going to charge your other non-weapon items for 1 second. I guess it's some sort of acceleration. It isn't terribly strong, because it's only 1 second on your non-weapon items every 6 seconds. So you first of all would need to haste it to make it, I think, usable at any point.
And I think by the time you're fighting the Lich, you probably already know what your build looks like, and that's probably doesn't need to be in it. That's what I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
So
unless you're going for the Necronomicon or one of the 2 skills, I don't think it's worth it. Although the XP is nice. That cannot be understated. And then we have Enclave Revenant, which is level 12 enemy. He has 3600 HP. This guy, if I remember correctly, gives out 8 gold and 4 XP. And he's fairly weak because he does a bit of poison, but not that much. So most of the builds, I think, can take him on.
yeah, I almost, if this guy's there, I'm almost always going for him if my build is remotely good, because he's pretty much a guaranteed win.
Yes.
If you're decent.
And also if you have like a lot of shielding, like if you are only about shielding, And then you might have troubles against this guy, but in any other situation, I think you're good. It needs to be stated that the rewards are pretty terrible unless you are going for a poison build. Skills are sort of meh, because the first one is when you poison, your items gain 2% crit chance for the fight. So this is sort of alright when you're playing poison. However, the second one is when you gain regeneration, a burn item gains 1 burn. In my opinion, this is terrible.
Yeah, because you like can't even do that unless you have like specific Mac items.
And the items, in my opinion, are sort of bad unless you are going for the poison strategy.
I totally agree. And most of his items are Mac items that he's holding. So basically it's a Mac build.
Yeah. Going further, I think we just came across the hardest boss in the game, and this is Radiant Corsair at 3600 HP, 12 gold, and 5 experience points. And this guy might not seem like much if you are like turbo shielding build, or like if you have really good CC, then you might as well take him on. However, I think that the main part about the difficulty of this guy is skill Fiery Rebirth. The first time you would die each fight, heal to full, cleanse your burn and poison, and then burn yourself for 30.
I always gaslight myself into saying, "Oh, I can beat this guy," and then I like enter the encounter, and I remember he has that skill, and I'm like, "Oh, I stand no chance. I forgot."
Yeah.
But that is like the best skill in the game, probably. I think it's the only mythic skill that I've seen, at least.
No, there are a couple
legendary.
more. There are a couple more, definitely. But
Oh, okay.
I think this one is the strongest. If it only were to heal to full, but no, it also has to cleanse your burn and poison, because why not? And on top of that, the Fiery Bird has also a anchor, which deals damage equal to 30% of your enemy's max health. So this guy is going to shoot you for 30% every couple of seconds. And besides that, there is a lighthouse, which is going to burn you for a lot as well. So unless you are very strong, either very defensive, or can somehow lock out the items of this bird, I wouldn't even approach it.
Yeah. Don't be like me and try to fight it every time and then get cooked. Happens every time. I'm telling you, I forget.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, maybe I overstated the difficulty of the bird, because the next one on our list is Void Golem. And Void Golem, besides having Singularity, which deletes your small items, has also 2 copies of Golden Caltrops. So if you are playing a small weapon spam, you are most likely going to kill yourself.
I pretty much only fight this guy if I have freeze, or if I'm running like a single weapon type build.
Though you have to remember that caltrops trigger on an item use, not weapon use.
You'll still delete your items if you're not quick enough too. So
I don't really like fighting Void Golem. Like, there aren't many builds who can go through double caltrops. Like, maybe if you have Vanessa build around Crow's Nest, so you have lifesteal on your weapon, then maybe. Like, the less active items and small items you have on your board, the higher chances you have against Void Golem.
But if your build takes any amount of time at all, then he really counters you, because if you only have a couple items, then he's like snaps them out of existence and you lose. So Radiant is good against this guy too. I usually fight him if I have like a Radiant
yeah,
item build.
Right. However, if you can manage to kill this guy, you will get 9 gold and 3 experience points besides the reward. However, the skills on this guy are, in my opinion, really nice. Like, Into the Void says, at the start of each fight, destroy an item on each player's board for the fight. So if you have some redundancy on your board, this might, well, allow you to win most of your fights, because if you are going to disrupt the synergy of your opponent, I think you're golden. And other thing is, well, maybe not that useful, but in some cases it might. When you destroy an item during combat, your weapons gain 100 damage and your burn items gain 10 burn for the fight. If you're running like Mama Saw, or maybe...
Yeah, Harpoon destroys small items and has ammo.
And also Dam, there are a couple of options. The Singularity, the legendary item for this guy, is every 9 seconds, it's going to destroy a small enemy item for the fight. So if you have a defensive build and you can roll this Singularity, this might be helpful. Besides, if you get caltrops, golden caltrops from this guy, I think you're going to be very happy as well.
Oh yeah, totally. Caltrop's really good, especially on another hero. It'd be kind of wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like a non-pig hero.
Do you think we should make an honorary mention for Volkas Enforcer?
Yeah, I think we should, because dude feels like a boss. I avoid him more than I do some of the bosses, so...
Yeah. First of all, if you have any freezing on your board, you are going only to accelerate him. So in that case, I wouldn't fight him. In my opinion, the heaviest of the heavy builds that can withstand the freezing are going to win against this fight, because every time I try to spam him, he just, well, froze me to death. And you need to remember that this armor is giving him shield every time anything is frozen. So this is why you don't really want to approach him if you are freezing.
Yeah. It looks hilarious too, because it like freezes and then it's just like shooting, constantly shooting shield at him.
Yeah.
I don't know, it looks really weird.
I would most likely choose a left or middle option and lose this 1 point of XP just to be sure I can win the fight.
100%. I never fight this guy, almost ever.
Mm-hmm. Now we have Death Knight Reaper, level 13 enemy, 4200 HP, gives out 13 gold and 5 experience points. And in my opinion, this, besides possibly the octopus, this is the weakest of the bosses. So if you have any defensive options on your board, I think you should be able to kill him.
Yeah, I think this guy looks way scarier than he is, because I don't know if I've ever lost to him when I went to fight him. Like, if your build's good, like, you're probably going to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And his items are really good. He gives you lots of good stuff, so...
Yeah, like, if you can actually get this scythe can 3-shot any enemy. Regarding the skills of this Death Knight Reaper, I think if you get the skill Hypnotic Drain, which says when you use a weapon, freeze a smaller item for 2 seconds. Oof. If you have a weapon, and if it's a quickly charging weapon, then you will be very happy with that crowd control.
When you use a weapon, freeze a smaller item, like, that gives me the vibe, like, it freezes your own items.
No.
I don't think it does, but...
Nah, it's your opponent's. There is a similar skill right now. It has a sniper rifle on the image, and it says, well, literally this. On the gold version, when you use a weapon, freeze a smaller item for 1 second, and then on the diamond version, when you use a weapon, freeze a smaller item for 2 seconds. So you can get it naturally, but if you get it as a reward, it's also really nice, I think. The other skill is your weapons have plus 10% crit chance, which is, I guess, alright. And the other thing is, the first time you fall below half health each fight, freeze an item for 9 seconds, which is also a bit of disruption. Like, 9 seconds is ages in the Bazaar.
Yeah, nothing here is bad, I don't think. I think this guy's a must-go, too. Unless your build's, like, awful.
Yeah, most of the time I think you can easily go there. And second to last boss fight, I think, is Lord of the Wastes, 5500 HP. I think this guy is a glorified piñata. Like, this guy doesn't do any damage, in my opinion.
He's not hard at all. I pick him. If he's there, I mean, it's like a free win. So plus you have the chance to get Genie Lamp.
Yes,
so good.
And he also gives out a lot of XP. I think he gives like 12 gold and 5 experience points, something like that. And if you also can roll the Genie Lamp from him, oh man, you just got the payout of your life. However, in terms of skills, like in most cases, I wouldn't take them. Like, first foreboding wins is when any player uses an item, all items gain 2% crit chance for the fight. So unless you are really heavy on the weapons and you are confident that you can burst your opponent before they can burst you, well, I would skip that.
It's fine if you get it, I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't pick it.
Yeah, like, it needs a really specific setup. And the second one is your large weapons deal plus 72 damage. So additionally, you need a large weapon to use it. And 72 damage in the later days when items scale into thousands, well, that's not going to help you that much, I think.
Yeah, I'd much rather get foreboding winds if I'm going to pull one of these, unless I just specifically have a large weapon build, which is like never, but maybe occasionally.
Like, I guess a large weapon is combat core, and that's the only, like, the
True.
most useful weapon of this size that I can think of. And I guess his legendary item is Flamberge, which deals a lot of damage. That's true. And its special effect is this deals quadruple crit damage. So if you have a situation where you can give it a lot of crit chance and then maybe accelerate it a bit because 8 seconds cooldown, well, you either have to be really defensive or, well, have an acceleration, right? Even with 100% crit chance, that's base level only 1000 damage, and you still need items that give you this crit chance. So I wouldn't consider Flamberge to be that great.
Yeah, I think it's mostly free money. I've gotten it before and I just sold it. So it's like 50. It's like 50 coins or something, which is pretty big.
I was very wrong about this being second to last because we have Veteran Octopus. And after that, we also have 3 more. So let's try and go through them quickly. Veteran Octopus, 4200 HP, 13 gold, 5 experience points for defeating it. I'm not even going to comment on it that much. Just click on it and get that experience points and gold for free. Like, doesn't matter what build you are running.
He's technically a boss, is what we'll say. Yeah. But
I mean, he's a boss just to honor me and other octopuses. I think that's it. Like, it doesn't matter what rewards you're going to get. Like, that's you are going there only for golden experience points, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I lost to this guy, if ever. So
yeah, I agree.
That way.
Okay, but highest level enemies, level 15, are Awakened District with 7000 HP, and this guy has Soul of a District. So this is this giant piece of rubble that deals damage equal to your current health. And it also grants a lot of shielding. Excuse me, this shields equal to your current health and then deals damage equal to your shield. My bad. If you have a build that can either have infinite shielding very quickly or has a lot of damage really quickly, I think you should be alright. But if you do poison or only healing, then I think you're going to be in trouble. Because this guy is going to one-shot you for sure.
He's a tough one, but man, that Soul of the District is such a good item. I've gotten it before, and I mean, if you're like Pygmalion or something, it's like an instant put in your build. It can go crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. His skills are, your shield items have plus shield equal to the value of your items, which I think is alright. Like, especially if you have something like Land Scraper or maybe Space Scraper. And then there is also Trickle Down Economics, which I really like. When you use a large item, haste an item for 4 seconds. Usually you can fit one large item on your board.
I think both of these skills are good. I guess the Prosperity one is more going to be relevant if you actually have shield items, but Trickle Down Economics can work in most builds. So
yeah.
You usually want one large item in most builds, I think. So there's definitely a lot of times you're looking for that specific large item. So
yeah, definitely. And the third skill is underwhelming compared to the other two. Your shield items have plus 20 shield. That's it. Going to the next guy, Lord Arken, 6000 HP. I think this is another glorified piñata.
Yeah, he's not tough.
Yeah, like, his double Gatling guns may seem intimidating, but I think that's free 13 gold and 5 experience points.
I love the design of this monster, I guess, because he's just like a space dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like, just out of context, it's awesome.
Actually, I think this Eclipse, his legendary item, is the only, like, truly science fiction item in the game. Like, with space on the background.
Yeah, well, I guess you're Space Scraper, but you're still on the planet there.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
And it just looks awesome too.
Oh
It just
yeah,
looks straight up awesome.
the art is really nice. So the Eclipse has 15 seconds cooldown, and the effect is use all your other items, which if you have a lot of them and if they have even longer cooldowns, for example a boulder, I guess that might be useful. And also when you use an item, the Eclipse deals 170 damage, which isn't a lot, but I guess you are mostly playing it for the main effect, which is using your other items. But still, you need to be somewhat defensive to be able to live for 15 seconds. Or, well, maybe a little less if you have acceleration for it. But still, I haven't found any great uses for the Eclipse.
No, I was about to say I always want to fit that in my build because it's so cool, but it's like 15. You see 15 seconds, and it's kind of like it doesn't work.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, most items have much shorter cooldowns, so why should you wait 15 seconds to, use an item if you can simply put that item in and it will like trigger twice in that time?
Yeah.
If you actually want anything useful from that guy, I think you should look for Unwavering, which is skill, and it says when you use an item, shield for 40. I would consider that a useful skill.
Yeah, could definitely be good, especially if you have like yo-yo or something like that
Mhm.
going off a bunch.
Yeah. And if you have something that says when you shield, do something. So that's also...
Oh, true.
Yeah. And the other skills aren't that particularly useful because one gives your large weapons 120 damage and the other gives your medium weapons plus 60 damage. So, in my opinion, not that useful. And other items here are pretty much gold. And then our last guy, this is insane actually to defeat because this is Void Colossus, 6000 HP, 13 gold, 5 experience points, but the main part here is Eye of the Colossus. It's a large legendary item with 10 seconds cooldown and it says destroy an enemy item for the fight. And additional effect is when you use an adjacent item, charge this 1 second. So let's say put it next to a bed and let it charge it in like 5 to 6 seconds. If you're lucky enough, you might somehow find multicast for it because there is a skill that says rightmost or leftmost tool gets +1 multicast and delete your opponent's whole board with this one simple trick.
Yeah, that's insane. I actually because the picture is messed up on this guy, it's the other freeze guy, I guess. I was
Yes.
confused by that.
Yeah.
It gaslit me the first time. I was like, oh, it's just this guy. The name's just weird, messed up or something. I clicked on it and got instantly wrecked, and I don't think I've been back since.
Yeah. I don't think I've been able to kill this guy. I've been avoiding him like a plague,
Yeah, he's probably the hardest in the game, I would say, or my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, mostly about the disruption. Like, the other items are pretty weak.
He mostly just insta deletes your board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I think the only thing the main counter to this strategy is either you can disrupt him even more, like let's say freeze his whole board, or you are I don't know, like repeater throwing knife Vanessa and you can kill him in 0.5 seconds. Those are my two strategies to killing this guy, because any like regular build cannot handle this guy at all.
You basically have to beat him at his own game.
Yeah, and
6,000 HP is a lot.
none of his skills or items are actually relevant and useful in my opinion. Like, if you're going to Void Colossus, you are looking for the eye.
Yeah.
And those were, all the bosses. I hope you now will know what those guys do, what you can get from them, and how to actually beat them. Thank you for watching another episode of Under the Surface. Please leave a like, please comment, please subscribe. It really helps us. And I guess we'll see you on Thursday.
Yep. See you on Thursday on my channel.
Yep, exactly. So, bye.
See ya.